Dear students, we have learned about the structure of the cell and the cellular organelles. What are the functions of those? As the next main part of the sixth unit, we are going to discuss about cell growth and cell division. First, we'll consider what cell growth is. The growth of a cell is considered to be the irreversible increase of size or the dry mass of a cell. The term dry mass is important because a cell can increase its size due to the absorption of water as well. Therefore, we have to consider the dry mass, and if it has been increased irreversibly, then we can call it as a growth. Then, how this cell growth takes place is an immature cell occurs, and that immature cell undergoes this growth and it becomes a mature cell. Then once it has become a matured cell, the next step takes place, that is cell division. Immature cell grows into a mature cell, then it undergoes cell division or increasing the number of cells, which we call as multiplication. So as a result of this process, new cells, either 2 cells, 4 cells or 8 cells depending on the type of cell division. The immature cell result in mature cell, and it will produce new cells by means of cell division. Then this cell division is the process by which new cells are formed by the division of cellular materials. Once we say cellular materials, it includes the cytoplasm and the nucleus. When we talk about cells, cells are basically of two types. They are prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. In prokaryotes, there is no organized nucleus. Organized means the genetic material is not covered with a membrane. But in eukaryotes, there is an organized nucleus. The genetic material is covered by membranes. It is known as an organized nucleus. Now you have got an idea about cell growth and cell division. Now we are going to discuss about cell division in detail. During cell division, first the chromosomes become clearly visible. When we learnt about the cell, when we learnt about the nucleus, I mentioned that the genetic material, the DNA, exists as a chromatin network, and when it is close to cell division, what happens is that chromatin network is converted into clear chromosomes. Then after that, this nucleus divides, and after the division of nucleus, the division of cytoplasm takes place. It is shown in this diagram, the process. This is just a representation of the process. So here you can see the cytoplasm of the cell and the nucleus, then the thread-like chromosomes, or what we call as the chromatin network, and these are inside the nucleus, and this is the nucleolus. Then when it is close to cell division, what happens is this chromatin network becomes clearly visible like chromosomes. Here you are shown the structure of a chromosome. A chromosome consists of this type of sister chromatids, and these sister chromatids are connected by the middle structure which is known as the centromere. Then the cell division process is summarized like this. So you learnt that chromosomes become clearly visible. Then the division of the nucleus takes place. So the nucleus has undergone division, and after that only the division of the cytoplasm takes place, resulting two cells. Then the cells of a sexually reproducing organism are basically of two types. These are the somatic cells or the normal body cells and the gametes, which we call as the sex cells. If I repeat, cells of an organism are of two types. Here the organism is a sexually reproducing organism. The two types of cells are somatic cells or the normal body cells and the gametes or the sex cells. These gametes are again of two types. The female gametes are known as eggs, or most probably we use the term ova. The singular term is ovum, O-V-U-M. Then the male gametes are known as sperms. Number of chromosomes in somatic cells of a species is a constant. When we consider the somatic cells or the normal body cells, the number of chromosomes in a single body cell or a somatic cell, it is a constant for a species. For example, if we consider a somatic cell of human being, it contains 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs of chromosomes. Out of these 23 pairs, each pair contains same hereditary information. That means there are 23 types of chromosome pairs. Then in a dog there are 78 chromosomes, fruit fly 8 chromosomes in a somatic cell, Zea mays or cone there are 20 chromosomes. If you like, you can search, you can find the number of chromosomes in somatic cells of different species. You can search and find. Now we are going to discuss how these chromosomes are divided into the cells of the new generation. Actually, a homologous pair of chromosomes is a pair of chromosomes which contain same hereditary information. And you learned that there are 23 pairs of chromosomes in a human somatic cell, and out of these 23, each pair contains similar chromosomes. So when we consider one pair, the two chromosomes in one pair, one is inherited from mother and the other one is inherited from father. So there are 23 chromosomes in a total which are inherited from mother's side and 23 chromosomes which are inherited from father. Then altogether there are 23 pairs of chromosomes. Therefore, a homologous pair of chromosome is a pair of chromosomes which contain same hereditary information. Then if we talk about cell division is of two types. One is mitosis and the other one is known as meiosis. First we'll consider mitosis. So during mitosis, the number of chromosomes is kept constant. During mitotic cell division, the number of chromosomes does not vary. It is kept as a constant. Resulting two daughter cells are equal to mother cell. So remember, during mitosis, two daughter cells. Here we are using the term daughter. not because that they are female or something. That is the term used for the new cells occurred in the next generation, daughter cells, and the first generation is known as the mother cell or the mother nucleus. So, during mitosis, a single mother nucleus or the mother cell will produce two daughter cells, and the number of chromosomes is kept constant. Here you can see I have mentioned 2n. This symbol 2n indicates diploid chromosomes. That means 46 chromosomes are there, or 22 into 23. So that is known as a diploid genetic composition. And the two daughter cells resulted, they are also having a similar genetic composition. That is why it is said during mitosis the number of chromosomes is kept constant. Then the resulted two daughter cells are equal to each other. They are identical actually. The two daughter cells are identical, and there is no difference in between these two daughter cells. That is why we call them as identical, and these two are similar or equal to the mother cell as well. So this is the representation of mitotic cell division. So whatever the genetic composition, whether it is diploid or if it is the half genetic composition, we call it as haploid, Haploid. So this mitosis can take place in both diploid and haploid cells. If it is a diploid cell, the two daughter cells will also have a diploid genetic composition. If the mother cell is haploid, which we indicate as N, then the two daughter cells will also be haploid, N and N. Right? So remember, the things that you have to remember is during mitosis, the mother cell or the mother nucleus will result in two daughter cells or two daughter nuclei, and the two daughter nuclei are identical to each other, and these are equal to the mother nucleus as well. So mitosis is possible in both diploid and haploid cells. Then what are the importances of this mitosis? Actually, the growth of multicellular organisms take place as a result of this mitosis. You all know that the life begins as a single cell even in multicellular organisms. This single cell increases the number of cells by means of mitotic cell divisions, and the first cell is known as the zygote. This zygote will undergo cell division. It will form a structure known as morula. Then after that this will give rise to a fetus, and after that when it is delivered we call it as the infant. Then this infant is developed into an adult. Likewise, the growth of the body of multicellular organisms take place by means of mitosis. Then when there is a wound, that wound is healed due to this mitosis. Sometimes when we get a wound, a part of the body can be removed, and when the wound is being healed, what happens is those cells are replaced. That is because of the regeneration of cells. And sometimes you may have seen in animals like gecko, it can drop its own tail, and after some time this tail will be grown again. That is due to the regeneration of cells. Then the organisms who undergo asexual reproduction, reproduce by means of this mitosis. For example, the reproduction of Hydra, new buds arise and these buds get detached from the body and grow as new individuals. Or if we take a twig of a plant, once we plant this twig, it will produce a new plant as a result of this asexual reproduction. Then the other importance is cell replacement. For example, in our skin, in our skin, the uppermost cell layer is removed. The dead cells are removed from the uppermost layer of the skin and a new layer is produced because of this mitosis or mitotic cell division. So that is known as cell replacement. So that is all about mitotic cell division. Then shall we move on to meiosis? Another important type of cell division. In meiosis, remember, this can happen only in diploid cells because during meiosis what happens is the genetic composition is halved. If there is 46 chromosomes in the mother nucleus, the resulting daughter nuclei will have only 23 chromosomes in each. That is why we call the genetic material is halved during meiosis. So, therefore, this can happen only in diploid cells. So, the mother nucleus is diploid, having the genetic composition 2n. And this meiosis consists of two cell divisions. Division 1 is actually the meiosis because you can see 2n or the diploid genetic composition has become halved in the two cells or two nuclei resulted here. These are haploid nuclei. Then division 2 is actually similar to mitotic cell division. There, this haploid nucleus produces another two nuclei which are also haploid. Therefore, from the two nuclei resulted from division 1, 4 daughter nuclei will be resulted during meiosis. So remember, meiosis can take place only in diploid cells. A single diploid mother's nucleus will produce 4 daughter nuclei which are haploid. And meiosis consists of two cell divisions. First division is meiosis and the second division is equal to mitosis. So this is the representation of meiosis or meiotic cell division. So this is very important because during gamete formation, meiosis takes place. There the the female gametes which we call as ova and male gametes which we call as sperms in animals. Once they fuse together, then the new individual will have the constant number of chromosomes that had been in the somatic cells of the mother and father or the male and the female. So if it is not clear, we'll consider this explanation. Number of chromosomes should be halved during gamete formation in order to keep the number of chromosomes of a species constant. So it will be clear when you look at this. Their number of chromosomes in a somatic cell of human is 46. Then the ovum mother cell contains 46 chromosomes. Sperm mother cell also contains 46 chromosomes. So if this 46 or the diploid composition is not halved or if they not become haploid, then what will happen? The next generation will have 92 chromosomes. If it is doubled again, the next generation will have 184 chromosomes. This is not possible. This is something impossible. Therefore, the number of chromosomes should be kept constant from generation to generation. The number of chromosomes should be kept constant from generation to generation. Therefore, this meiosis is very important during gamete formation. So, the ovum mother cell undergo meiosis and produce the ovum which has only 23 chromosomes. This is the most important place for meiosis to take place. Sperm mother cell will undergo meiosis and produce the sperm nucleus which contains only 23 chromosomes. Then during the fusion of the ovum nucleus and the sperm nucleus, again these two will combine and form the haploid zygote which contains 46 chromosomes. Then again this zygote will undergo mitotic cell divisions and the number of chromosomes is kept constant from generation to generation. So this is a place where both meiosis and mitosis both become important. So gametes are formed by undergoing meiosis. Then the haploid gametes fuse together and form the diploid zygote. Then the zygote will undergo mitosis and make another individual in the next generation having the same number of chromosomes. So this is very important. Organism of the next generation also have 46 chromosomes in a somatic cell. So it is clear how this meiosis and mitosis are combined. So as a result of this meiosis, structural changes occur in chromosomes. Because of these structural changes occur in chromosomes, new variations occur in genetic material from generation to generation. This is very important because these variations will lead to the evolution. So the human beings which are living today have undergone a long evolutionary process to come to this level of a human being. So still at this time also we are undergoing this evolutionary process which occurs very slowly, and in another 100 years or in another 200 years there may be certain changes in the human beings also due to these changes, or what we call as mutations, occur in chromosomes during meiosis. Then what are the importance or significance of meiosis? It maintains the constant number of chromosomes from generation to generation. I think that is clear for you very well. And this leads to evolution due to certain variations. So then we have to, as the last part of this, we have to compare meiosis and mitosis. As it is available in your textbook like this, I will use it for the explanation. Meiosis takes place in two divisions, and in mitosis there is only one division, and meiosis takes place only in diploid cells. Mitosis takes place in both diploid and haploid cells. In meiosis, variations occur, thus changes take place in chromosomes, but in mitosis there are no variations. The changes in chromosomes are very, very rare. That is why we told the two cells are identical to each other and they are equal to their mother cell as well. During meiosis, 4 daughter cells are resulted. During mitosis, only 2 daughter cells are resulted. And In meiosis, daughter cells receive half the number of chromosomes available in the mother cell, but in mitosis, the two daughter cells receive the same number of chromosomes. Actually, for this to happen, the genetic material or DNA undergoes replication. That part is not explained here. You will think that how this, when the genetic material is divided into two cells, how does it become the same number? For that, a process known as DNA replication take place. First, the genetic material is doubled and it is divided into two similar parts. So later you will learn about this in your advanced level. Then the daughter cells are different from mother cell in meiosis, but in mitosis daughter cells are similar to mother cell. So this cell division is a very important process, and the theory component is also very important for you to remember. So understand properly, and you should be able to compare the two cell divisions as well. Hope you had a clear idea about cell growth and cell